What's happening with Diablo 4? Oh yeah, Diablo 4 is already on Twitch, man. There's box art. Hello, welcome to the mid-year Diablo 4 quarterly update. These are interesting now because the game has a potential launch window now. We hope you enjoyed last quarter's behind-the-scenes look at the art of Sanctuary and its dungeons. That blog and our... I'd like to take a moment to congratulate Diablo Immortal on its launch. LOL. Thank you for all the whales funding and purchasing and using their credit card to make Diablo 4 reality. Imagine spending all your money on Diablo Immortal. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll wait for Diablo 4. Today, we're going to look at the final launch class, the Necromancer. Now that it's been announced on the big screen, we can jump into some of the grittier details and mechanics of the class. You can think of this blog as a companion to that announcement. Their lead class designer... Oh, is this only about the Necromancer? Oh, I thought this was, like, broad. It's only Necromancer. Class features, playstyle, Book of the Dead, final thoughts. Oh. Yes. I'm not playing a Necromancer. Necromancer weapons? Is this new? Is this new? This one that was yesterday, the trailer. Necromancer, weapons? Got a scythe. That looks like a fucking rake. I mean, the Necromancers definitely look cool. The skulls are canteens. The fuck is that? It looks like what's-his-face from Batman. Did that not look like what's-his-face from Batman? Is that like a weird armor type? He literally, his heart is like right there. Robert Pattinson. It looks sick though. That looks pretty awesome. That looks sick too. They definitely made the Necros look very fucking evil. Like, that was pretty cool. What self-respecting Necro will be running around the world, but I'm going Barb still. We're happy to see that you will be able to put these nasty debuffs on your enemies to your heart's content. 4 high-level playstyles the players can choose between. These playstyles are Bone, Darkness, Blood, and the Army. Bone skills are relatively physical in nature and thus benefit more heavily from effects such as Critical Strike. These skills also benefit from having and spending large amounts of essence, as they have various effects that can cause each of their individual attacks to be even more powerful. Bone Spirit is back in Diablo 4, and it now has a unique twist that exemplifies what Bone skills are all about. Bone Spirit not only has a cooldown, but also consumes all essence the player currently has. Once cast, a Spirit of Bone is conjured that seeks out the nearest enemy. Upon reaching them, the Spirit will explode, dealing a high amount of damage to the target and all the other enemies in the area. Necromancer Bone skills. Yeah, I'm more of a visual person. Oh. It seems like Necromancer's still heavily focused on fucking corpse explosion. Darkness skills use shadow magic to overwhelm their enemies. These kind of attacks tend to be dot based or attack multiple times in a short window. So wait, do you spec into one of these four? Bone, darkness, blood? Unless you can mix all of them together? These videos are kind of shit quality. Oh wait, this one's 1440p. Maybe they're still rendering. Huh. That look kind of cool. Darkness, you like fucking drain them. Necromancer can also use the power of blood magic to siphon the life from their enemies. Blood magic? I mean, Necromancers look like they're very in-depth. I mean, Barbarian, you just fucking smack shit. I am full copium on this game. I am full copium. I've decided, it's easy to copium. You can't deny. I'm full copium on this game. I would buy an ultra-wide monitor to play this game. I don't give a fuck. This is like the addict fucking looking at the bottle of alcohol and deciding to, after years of not picking it up. Okay. Blood looks kind of bloody. Blood looks nice. And then the army. Of course, it's all about summons. Well, I wonder if these, even though I'm not reading, I wonder if these are all about summons as well. YouTube's clearly telling me I need to watch. I gotta look at what Baal looks like. That's Baal, right? Actually, I kind of want to see. He was like one of the most disgusting, fucking evil-looking motherfuckers. And the cinematic was so good. Yeah, I wonder if you spec into one of these. Like, it's way more... Unless it's like you're always summoning, so you have your summons and you can also go into blood. Book of the Dead. They mentioned this. Skeletal warriors, skeletal mages, golems. Oh, you can spec them as well, unless the golems are blood. Skeletal mages are shadow, unless you can change the mages to blood. Cue the Book of the Dead and Necromancer's unique class mechanic. Right from the moment you log in, you will start with an extra skill on your bar, Raise Skeleton. With this button, you will be able to raise undead warriors to fight by your side. In addition to this, you will have access to the Book of the Dead. This is a space where you can customize your army, which increases options as you level your character. There are 3 customizable summons in this space: Skeletal Warrior, Skeletal Mage, and then the Golem. Each summon also has one of 3 specializations that you can choose from. As an example, you can have your Skeletal Warriors be Skirmishers, Defenders, or Reapers. Skirmishers are a more standard warrior but have increased damage and reduced health. Defenders have bonus health and Reapers have slower attacks. Deal damage in a AoE in front of them and have a special wind-up attack that deals a high amount of damage. In addition to this, each specialized unit in the army has unique upgrades available to them, giving you even more customization over how each unit in their army functions and their overall playstyle. These units... Who here is going to play a Necromancer? Any Necro mains? This definitely looks placeholder. Like, this looks so fucking out of place. Skirmisher, you select an upgrade, and there's a sacrifice as well. They showed this in the trailer yesterday. There are 3 customizable summons. You can have your... Skeletal Meta. Each summon also has one of 3 specializations that you can choose from. As an example, you can have your Skeletal Warriors be Skirmishers, Defenders, or Reapers. Skirmishers are a more standard warrior but have increased damage and reduced health. Defenders have bonus health, and Reapers have slower attacks, deal damage in an AoE in front of them, and have a special wind-up attack that deals a high amount of damage. It seems like Reaper is the way to go. In addition to this, each specialized unit in the army has unique upgrades available to them, giving you even more customization over how each unit in their army functions and their overall playstyle. These units and upgrades will have synergies with the various playstyles mentioned above, as well as add other potential ways to play. In addition to all this customization, we have also added the ability for players to sacrifice different components of their army for personal benefits. Next to each unit type in the Book of the Dead is an extra option to sacrifice the ability to summon that unit in exchange for a personal permanent buff. These buffs are carefully designed and placed so that the player can mix and match, having none, some, or all the possible summon units while still having relevant options to enhance their build. Interesting. You can sacrifice your fucking minions and buff your character. That's actually a little more intriguing. I'm not a huge fan of summons, but if you literally summon them to sacrifice and you are the one that does the damage, that would be an interesting playstyle. Our goal with the system, I know that reminds me of like the Warlock. Like a Warlock could you could sacrifice your imp or some shit. There are relevant and powerful options to choose from, whether players want to play with the full army, part of the army, or even for those who wish to forego their army completely and play solo. Fuck, that actually is kind of interesting. We've had a blast playing with this system, and we're excited to see the various combinations that you all come up with. We're so excited to be able to bring Necromancer to Diablo 4, and we can't wait to get it in your hands, whether you are a veteran player who's put in thousands of hours. This makes me wonder what the breakdown is of like the Barbarian. Because this is seems like there's a lot of different ways of doing things. You could really change up the playstyle. Gopium! There are more traditional RPG elements in D4 than in the mobile game. I know, there's a high chance that they're gonna fuck this up, alright? Everybody understands it's fucking Blizzard, okay? You know, they fucking shoot you in the face once, and then you are in the hospital, and you're like, I forgive you. And then they shoot you again in the face, and then they're like, okay, and then you're in the hospital, and you're like, look, I know it was an accident, I forgive you. And then they shoot you in the fucking head again, and then you're like, listen, I know you tripped, alright? And then they might shoot you a fourth time. Now you're kind of like, I don't know. I'll trust you one more time. That's where we're at right now. It's not my fault, man. Okay? I'm fucked. Yeah, Dirt 2 with the 23. Fooled me once, and twice, and 3 times. Fucking 4 times. Shit, dude, hold up. I just want to watch this real quick. It popped up. I just wanted to see this. I really hope Diablo 4 has cinematics like this, or else it's gonna be kind of dumb. I hope it's not all in-engine. But why would they why would they go like this with the Diablo 2 cinematics and then not do it with Diablo 4? The way they designed Baal is probably one of the coolest fucking villainous characters, dare I say, and one of the best in gaming. Fucking creepy ass motherfucker. He has a very evil design. I mean, okay, maybe I oversold it a little bit.
The gates of Sescheron have stood for eons beyond remembrance, and you shall not breach them now. Remove your foul demons from our lands. We stand on the side of light. You shall not be allowed to reach Mount Ariat, and that which you seek will not be yours.
This castle has very bad security. Unless it's like a mountain gate.
I shall take your position into consideration. Well, it seems your terms are not acceptable.
Yeah, actually, I think I recall him as looking creepier. Never mind. Mephisto is the creepiest. The older one is scarier. Yeah, I'm fucking full copium on this fucking game. I don't give a fuck. There is another gameplay trailer. Diablo 4 Necromancer PvP World Boss gameplay. You fucking lying, bitch? You fucking lying? Wait, 47 minutes ago. Oh my god, you're not lying. We've seen this? Why would they re-upload this video 47 minutes ago? We got our hands on some extra gameplay footage. Extra gameplay footage. Lies. This is not lying. Holy shit. What the fuck?
Hey folks, you probably got a good look at Diablo 4 during the Xbox showcase. However, we have a little bit of extra footage that we wanted to show off just to give you guys a better understanding of the gameplay. Specifically, we have footage of the Necromancer, one of the classes they just announced, as well as some PvP stuff and a world boss. Joining me is Eric Tay. He is the Blizzard Diablo expert, so we had to get him on here to kind of go over some of the cool stuff that he noticed.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jake, and hello to all the fans. But it's really exciting to see more Diablo 4, of course. Seeing the Necromancer get revealed, not my personal favorite class of the Diablo timeline, but I know there's a lot of folks that enjoy the class, and we're getting to see kind of just some tried and true, right? Some corpse explode and
you can't deny it looks slow, just like how fucking come on, how many ARPGs have you played? This looks fucking like level 5.
Going through a dungeon with just a golem, which is interesting because the Necro is known so much for being a summoner class, and we're gonna see some variations of the Necromancer gameplay throughout this kind of first clip. We'll kind of let this play through a little bit, and then I can get into some of the other stuff in a little bit.
Definitely early game, the weapon looks fucking potato. You're just like, it's like you're raking and it looks like it does no damage.
Now we're out in the kind of like open world. Here, different class kind of build here. You have skeletal warriors, you have skeletal mages. What looks like maybe teeth from kind of Diablo 2 or a variation of bone spear, as well as some cursing going on. We don't get context in terms of like what exactly each of those skills are. The only thing that I saw through these clips that we got are just more about the different variations for the summoning, which is the primary core of a Necromancer.
It's still super interesting how through all the gameplay there hasn't been any showing of how the loot looks when it drops. You don't see any grays, blues, or anything drop.
But, you know, I can kind of break some of those down. So the skeletal warriors that are kind of out there right now are probably either skirmishers or reapers.
See the gold.
There's 3 variations: skirmishers, defenders, and reapers. The defender, which is the only tooltip that we got through this kind of gameplay, is geared towards having durable shield bearers with 15% more life. You'll see some defender skeletal warriors later in the later part of this clip, but you know, you can upgrade it one of 2 ways. One of the ways, you know, every 10 seconds your skeletal defenders will negate the next instance of direct damage they would take. If you decide to want to sacrifice it, which is one of the 3 options, you'll gain 15% non-physical resistance, but you'll no longer be able to raise skeletons. The skeletal mages, there's 3 options. There's shadow, cold, and bone. For example, with cold, as one of the upgrades, each time your cold mages
Yeah, I'm
damage-
kind of surprised at the UI for this game. For such like a dark and gritty and fucking death-ridden game, it's a very like colorful fucking baby blue spells. And like, it's kind of weird for the UI. Sure, it's not final, but it's kind of weird. I feel like, and like the numbers at the bottom is a disconnect. It's kind of like, you don't expect that from at least Blizzard's UI teams usually on point.
enemies with their primary attack, you gain 2 essence. If you want to sacrifice
I don't know how I feel about
the cold skeletal mage, you'll deal 15% increased damage
I feel like Diablo 3's UI was better.
to vulnerable enemies, but again, no longer able to summon skeletal mages. And then with the golems, there's bone, blood, or iron. In this clip, you're seeing iron, so I'll just like break down what iron does. Iron golem will slam the ground and stun enemies, and every 5th iron golem attack causes a shockwave, dealing X% damage to primary enemy and enemy behind it. That's one of the 2 upgrades for the iron golem.
I would play
And
this
then if you
class
decide
totally
to
and sacrifice the army.
iron golem, you'll deal 30% increased critical strike damage, but you can't summon a golem anymore. I've never enjoyed the summoning aspect of necromancers, even though that's kind of what the class does. So it's kind of cool to have this passive ability of trading off your summons to make your necromancer stronger, essentially. But what we're seeing in this clip is you have the defender skeletal warriors that I mentioned, as well as iron golem. There's legendaries that they're not picking up, presumably to, you know, keep some of that hidden.
Oh wait, so that was a legendary. That's how it looks like? I saw that earlier.
Warriors that I mentioned, as well as iron golem. There's legendaries that they're not picking up, presumably to, you know, keep some of that hidden.
I think,
although
did I
know
miss
a lot of
it?
folks probably want to see what those are.
Oh yeah, that's what it looks like? I mean, the UI's off, so obviously the text is gone too. I mean, you know, it's right here. That orange shit that drops. It's like an orange fucking smoky thing. That is the legendary.
And then you have either
there's
a
2
bone
drops. That's literally it right there. And I think because the UI's off, all the text is gone too, but that would have text on it maybe.
spear kind of like variant where it is hitting the wall and then bouncing back and kind of making 3 bone shards, or like smaller bone shards.
No, the
Don't
red
know if
is
that's an
from
upgrade
the corpse
for
explosion.
like bone spear or teeth. I'm not sure which one it is. That looks more like bone spear though, or if it's kind of like a legendary effect that's like on one of the necromancer's items right now on this specific character.
One thing to just note, a lot of that information you gathered from a build that's not final. So like some of that could change, so don't take everything as gospel that we're saying. But anyway, back to the gameplay.
Yeah, I don't think Necromancer's my first choice, but still a cool class. I like summoning. If I can sacrifice all these dudes to buff the living shit out of myself, maybe. They did say you can sacrifice the golem for 30% crit damage. But then I wonder if like your gameplay is focused on corpse explosions. Yeah, it does sound nice. How come publisher like Rockstar Games doesn't sue Rockstar Energy Drink? I don't know, because they're like... Oh yeah, that's definitely a legendary sword on the ground, you can see. I don't think that's how it works. And that was extremely random. That's the other thing, you get a horse. So I mean, you're just gonna be roaming and seeing other players and shit, so. Yeah, Barbarian.
We're getting some PvP here, which is something they're kind of bringing back, right? It was pretty big in D2, but was absent in D3.
Yeah, like it's
they already
cool to see
showed.
it come back. You know, there's definitely a lot of folks that enjoy PvP. So don't know how it'll interact with, you know, what end game or like mid game looks like, or what kind of rewards you even get from it. But, you know, it does give that extra flavor of kind of builds and gear that you might want to use specifically for PvP that might not be necessarily good for PvE, but, you know, is catered to just fighting other players.
Need more time.
I don't think they're gonna pull this part off. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever feel the same experience from like vanilla WoW PvP. Duels could be fun. In a weird way, I feel like this is like the closest thing to the next Blizzard MMO game. Even though this isn't an MMO, and they're not marketing it as an MMO, it's the closest thing. Like, I'm really curious if it's gonna have player hubs. They said it's gonna? Oh. It's not an MMO, you can play it offline. Good joke, bro.
All right, so the last clip we got is a world boss.
I don't know. You know what was really cool? I don't know if you guys noticed how the gold looks on the ground. It looks fucking sick. Whatever shine they're doing. Yeah, you can't play this offline. You're going to have to be connected to battle.net at all times. So this is definitely login. The gold texture is fucking beautiful.
You were noticing some similarities to
I feel like I've
other
never seen a game
D3
use a gold
bosses,
texture
right?
like that.
Yeah, just a little bit. You'll
Jesus.
see later on, like in the clip, when it kind of does some summons, where like it summons some treasure goblins, kind of eerily similar to Greed
when he
from
pukes
Diablo
gold.
3, where you take your puzzle ring and put that in the cube so that you could get this kind of like secret level. But yeah, it's a pretty big spectacle. Having a big boss out in the field with. I tried to count them. There's definitely at least 7 characters, but I think you can have up to 8, as they mentioned previously. There's the kind of the goblins running off. It saddens me that they don't try to chase them to kind of kill them to get the gear that.
Oh yeah, the
presumably
goblin
they would
is
drop.
running.
But, hey, we're focusing on DPS on the world boss here. And I think the other one cool thing that I noticed is it kind of feels a little bit like Monster Hunter-y, where at the start of the fight the boss isn't as beat up, it doesn't have as many scars, but kind of like over time you kind of see a little bit more like cuts and a little bit more bleeding from the boss.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, just cool to have an open area where you
isn't
can team up
that
with
gold texture satisfying? I don't know what the fuck that is, but I noticed that.
other players.
You can
and,
see it flowing on the ground.
and kind of tackle a big boss, and get some hopefully good gear.
Right? gold. No, they said there's one of 3 world bosses. So this motherfucker's one.
And that's it on the Diablo 4 gameplay. Thank you all for watching. And if you want to check out more Diablo coverage, we have a couple videos on GameSpot right now, including an interview with some of the developers that I highly recommend you check out.
That looks.
See you next time.
Oh shit. Okay, wait. The way the gold
Thank you all for
spilled out
watching.
was very nice. I
And
didn't
if you wanna
know
check
the
out more
gold
Diablo
opens.
coverage, we have a couple videos on GameSpot right now, including an interview with some of the developers that I highly recommend you check out.
Look
See
at
you
the way
next
the
time.
gold spills out. Fuck. Look, I can appreciate. Look, the monetization. I get it. Ugh, that's fucking so fucking annoying. It's like, hey, here's a sick piece of. Fuck the monetization side. I can appreciate sometimes the talent at Blizzard. Okay, all right. Like it looks
An
fucking
interview with some
sexy.
of the developers that I highly recommend you check out. See you next time.
You know, it's not like the fucking guy designing the gold animation and applying the lighting to the gold and how this actually forms with whatever tech they have, you know, isn't the same dude as the guy fucking monetizing and discussing how the fuck they're gonna make money off this thing. So I can respect the fucking look of this shit. And the devs who worked on that specific aspect. I don't know, sometimes that shit's very interesting to look at. Even like the way the boss died, and you see kind of like the noise of when he falls to the ground looks satisfying. It sounded good too. The sounds in the game,
Diablo
it
4
sounds
gameplay.
chunky.
Thank you all for watching. And if you want to check out more Diablo coverage, we have a couple videos on GameSpot right now, including an interview
Like
with
even
some
the
of
way he falls, like I don't know, you know, you're used to like like clipping and shit. So when you see something like very smooth and like kind of sick like that, it's satisfying to look at.
the developers that I highly recommend you check out. See you next time.
Like that's a sick gold spill animation. I respect that fucking talent there on how they did it. You know, the polish of the actual development side. I respect that shit. It's cool.